Carol asks Helen what she thought of the book. She didn't say, I like it. She said, people will like it. I think that's a really good tell. Even her own wife thinks she's not a good writer. I think. And she put it to her nicely, just like the collective is trying to soften the blow of the 11 million she killed with her outburst.
We are Squawking Dead, a podcast pulverizing programs beyond the Walking Dead universe.
Sometimes we give you news, sometimes we make you laugh, most times we go deep. We're your host, David Cameo, and we are joined by...
This individual is known as CosmoMom09.
This individual is Blazy Gardner.
And we're here to talk to you about the inaugural series premiere of Pluribus. We are not a collective, which is great. This is the whole point. Squawking Dead is the antithesis of Pluribus because we do come together on our diverse opinions, but we don't walk away agreeing, I think, which is great for you, the audience, because you may not agree with us. And I'd like to hear more about that in the comment section or in your reviews. Yeah. You'll hear more about that later and how to do that. And obviously, you know how to use the comment section if there is a comment section. So get crack-a-lackin', but not yet. We haven't said anything objectionable yet, unless maybe we have. Maybe you should tell us.
They might have something to say about our opening there.
Not if I have anything to say about that.
Dave's going to work his editing magic on it, and it's going to come out perfectly.
Exactly. Well, you could do
It'll
any
be
better?
something.
We're like the Great British Bake Off. We have this huge mess of footage, and Dave molds it and shapes it into a beautiful confectionery for everyone to enjoy.
Yeah, it's mostly fondant.
Yeah.
This podcast should be called Mouthful of Fondant. Pew, 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 with guns.
Fondant's delicious.
Yeah.
I like
well,
fondant.
In excess, it's kind of...
I mean, it'll give
Not
you a
good.
bellyache, but it's good.
but it's a good kind. It's like a warm, fuzzy bellyache.
It'll give you a bellyache.
Rather than talk about the titles just yet, let's talk about first impressions.
I loved it, especially the second watch, because the first watch, I was just like, what in the world? I had watched nothing about this beforehand other than I watched some of the really weird trailers. I hadn't read any articles about it. I knew absolutely nothing about other than she was the most miserable person on earth and has to deal with the virus of happiness or whatever. So for me, the second episode, I'm going to say dragged just a little bit for me. The first time, the second time I enjoyed it a lot more. Oh my God. Ray Seehorn, number one. I mean, amazing. The choice of shots and the camera angles, and I noticed a lot of mirroring shots. All of the cinematography was fantastic. The first episode spooked me out a little bit when you look in like to the hospital and everybody's just standing there shaking. So in the scene where she's asking the pirate lady how many people died because of her, hundreds, thousands, and they didn't cut away and show you pirate lady's face. You got everything from Carol's reaction. They just kept it on Ray Seehorn's face. I'm ready for the next episode. I wish there was one up. I would have already watched it.
Well, we only have a couple more days anyway at this rate. They'll be here before you know it. And we have another show to cover, which in case you're hopping on for the first time, we are talking about It, Welcome to Derry on HBO Max. A little bit of housekeeping, why not? But also back to Pluribus. Let's go to you, Ray.
I only watched it once. First episode, second episode, one time.
You mean you didn't take notes?
No, I haven't had a... Shut up. Like Sharon D, the first time you watch it, it's just kind of like, what the heck is going on? There's a lot of catch up that you got to do. But I liked that. It drew me in because I'm like, what is happening? I need to know what's going on. I appreciate, and it needs to be said, immediate answers. I appreciate knowing at least a little bit of what's going on. We don't know the full picture. We don't know the who or the how, but we got some answers, enough to keep me intrigued, enough to say, I want to know more. The casting is phenomenal. I think everybody that I've seen on screen so far has done an excellent job. I love that there is a seriousness to what's going on, but at the same time, there's enough humor in it that I found myself laughing at quite a few places where maybe I wasn't supposed to. Like she's she's pushing the gurney around in the hospital and she bumps into the guy, or she's in the bar and she's trying to get the phone out of the girl's hand and she's like clutching it. I like it when you can incorporate the and the laugh with it. I kind of told Sharondy before we started, I don't really know, but I guess sitting here now describing it sounds like I liked it. Right? I mean, I'm saying
watch
all
the next
good
episode.
I know. It sounds like I'm saying all good things, so I must have liked it.
Is there anything about the show that you didn't like?
Well, the things that I didn't like, I'm not supposed to like.
Like Carol?
Yes, my feelings towards anything I disliked were very much on purpose. And it pains me so much to even utter this sentence out loud. It hurts.
Oh, right.
I can't even like get my face to form these words, but I did.
Carol sucks.
I did not like Carol. Let me back up just a little bit. So Sharondy had the tiniest little hint of what this show was about. Not even a synopsis. What am I trying to say? Like a tagline of some kind. I don't know, something. I had zero idea what the show was about. Absolutely nothing. I knew the title of it and I knew Rhea Seehorn was in it. No clue.
I knew a little bit more than that, but Sharondy obviously knew more because she read about it more, I think.
I knew almost nothing about it other than the trailer.
You had said something just a moment ago about her being the most miserable person on earth.
Right. Well, that was how Vince Gilligan described it.
Okay. She's doing a very good job portraying the most miserable person on earth. However, I can understand why right now, mostly because she just lost the most important person in the world to her. And she has literally no one to grieve with.
I did not catch the first time that
Or everyone.
they were together.
Oh, I did too. The first time it's obvious is they're right outside the bar and Helen is reading the comments online. One of the online people, they're asking about Raban specifically, and is this character based on any real life man?
Mm.
And then there's like this like awkward pause and Helen's like, are you going to tell him the truth? That was the indicator for me.
I got that the second time, but the first time I was like, oh, she's got some mystery past or something, you know, that we're going to find out about later.
I knew on first watch that you didn't have to make like certain bargains in your brain. Like, okay, at least Carol is a lesbian by Helen saying that. Because Helen could still be, just her publicist, etc. But then there's the knowledge about the car. And obviously Carol's an alcoholic, so her car has a breathalyzer in it. But then again, it's their car, I find out in the second watch. Then you start getting into more definitive evidence.
There's like a wedding picture of them together at one point. And I was like,
I didn't even see that.
Yeah.
But it's very quick. So
it's when she goes to pick up the phone.
The cordless phone, right?
Yeah.
Before she calls the president. And even then she doesn't call the president right away. She has a drink, blah, blah.
He's not the president.
He's not the president.
He's the Undersecretary of Agriculture.
Right. But, you know, it was that president. She's on the president's podium. Anyway, so she's looking at the cordless phone from the couch. It focuses on the photo for just like a microsecond, like milliseconds, hundreds of milliseconds long. And then it focuses on the phone. But in that photo, you'll see Carol's wearing black and Helen's wearing white. And it appears to be framed in such a way that it looks like a wedding photo.
A wedding photo. Okay. Yeah. No, I did miss that. But to me, it was very clear that they were together.
But there's very black and white thinking throughout the show. And of course, Helen and she are both very black and white thinkers. I'm talking about extremes of opinion. And then even then later on in the second episode, you have Kumba, the guy from Mauritania, is her literal mirror image.
Oh, He's
like Hakuna Matata, and she's like, "Are you kidding me? You know, like, how can you be so relaxed?"
I noticed, like I said, I noticed that there were several mirror images throughout. She's like sitting on the edge of her bed or something, and there's a mirror on the other side of the screen. Yeah. And you can see her reflected in that mirror.
In the cosmetic mirror, right?
Yeah, a round mirror in her bathroom.
Right.
Very interesting shot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Very Vince Gilligan.
He did a lot of tracking shots that were really good, especially when she was freaked out and driving the car.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yes. Everything
no-cut
you're
tracking
seeing
shot
out the back window. Very cool.
Of course he had to do that after some shows recently had featured that in England.
I love that little detail of everybody fixing things, because usually when something like that happens, everybody's out rioting in the streets and they're burning down the buildings and setting stuff on fire. And here everybody's running to help everybody
putting
else.
out things on fire.
Putting out the things on fire, helping people out. And I was like, that was really cool.
Probably putting things back, right? Instead of taking them from their spot.
In episode 2, when they spend the entire first part with no speech, no dialogue whatsoever, Zosha leaving wherever she was, going to find the bodies. There's the shot of the policeman when he's trying to get food out of the vending machine and he's bending down, and
the guard.
The reflection behind him, you can see the doctor coming out the door and walking up the hallway, and that was like just a really long slow shot. Like, they didn't hurry it in any way. Most shows, they would have had her coming really fast and that would have been a quick shot. But this, it was like, what, 30 seconds of her walking up the hallway behind him? That's also a Vince Gilligan thing, because they did that a lot in Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. But I feel like it's to another level.
It adds a level of suspense. That scene specifically was very suspenseful. Like in the classic horror movies where you're like, turn around, they're right there.
The wolf is behind you. And yet the wolf is so nice. He ends up kissing him instead of killing him.
I like those scenes where you have to be paying attention and watch things as they unfold. And then finally, when it gets to the end, you're like, oh.
By the way, Vince Gilligan has the lion's share of the credits, the writing credits, the executive producer credit.
Right.
No Thomas Schnauz. It's like not his usual team too. But isn't that sort of a commentary on his version of, if you had to take it from the point of view of a post-apocalyptic viral outbreak, zombie apocalypse sort of brain, well, as opposed to anything else, it feels like, well, this is how it would actually happen. Very silently, very quietly, almost pleasantly, without you really realizing it happened, basically. Rather than a zombie apocalypse where people like blowing up and just ripped apart and it's in your face. Oh, there's blood spatter everywhere.
There was a lot of chaos in the beginning. I mean, she drives into the city and half of it was on fire. So
856 million people died in the first iteration. So,
but did we see all that death and destruction? Is the point I'm making.
Okay, you're saying as the viewers we didn't see, but it happened.
But we did, because we saw a microcosm of it. We saw the truck drive into the other truck with the guy that was passed out, and then
but it drifted. It was like, and then it went on idle. It was like,
and then Helen died. We did see it. We just didn't see the widespread. We saw a microcosm of what was going on around the world.
We saw what we wanted to see in Fear the Walking Dead, only not at all violent. Basically, I had that in my brain as she's driving around the city of Albuquerque and she's watching it in flames. It was like, oh, it's like LA burning in Fear the Walking Dead. Did you have that in your head at all? I don't know if any of you did.
Not necessarily. It was more like, oh, look, it's a burning city, like every destruction apocalypse movie.
I also love that they were in Albuquerque.
Yes, and also the other tie-in that I picked up on was the Wayfarer airplane flight company that was in Breaking Bad, the one that blew up over Walter's house and ended up dropping all the debris into his pool,
including the pink teddy bear.
Wayfarer 515. They're in the Breaking Bad universe.
They're just ahead in time, right? Because I think even Better Call Saul wasn't quite today. I think, if I'm not mistaken, it was like 2015.
I think the post Breaking Bad was sort of present day, but the bulk of the story was 2004, 2005, because that was what was on their marriage license. It's like 2004.
Right. Going back to my point, though, it's like, again, a commentary on, well, this is how it actually happened. It's like a fart. Silent but deadly. Not rip-roaring and smelly. It's in your face.
You're
and
in
you
a
don't
place
want
of
it
farts
here.
lately.
But you gotta flaunt it.
It was like
no, without a doubt, it was, but it wasn't what we thought it would be.
There was nobody eating faces, but being the only person standing around while everybody else is pretty freaking scary.
Well, even the way they described how it happened, or the way we find out her name at the end of the second episode, just because they were trying to argue over who should have her. Zosha, which I'm just going to continue calling the pirate lady. Exactly. Because she's not Zosha anymore anyway. So it doesn't even matter. Pirate lady.
Okay, this is going to be an entirely different conversation for...
I'm like the Rachel of the podcast now. It's pirate lady.
No, I agree. But there's a conversation to be had about whether or not
we'll get there.
They are still themselves.
Pirate lady says how it happened when asked. And she said, we got the astronauts and the Navy people and the Army people first. And we went individually one by one asking, sort of making it seem as though she'd asked them or she introduced it to them. And they were like, yeah, let's do it. Until the Army caught wind and then they had to accelerate their plan, which is a whole other conversation. The way she describes it was sort of like how Rome fell, the fall of Rome. It fell so slowly and so gradually over, I think, decades, basically, because not everybody knew that Rome fell when it fell. And so it took so much time for people to figure out, oh, this thing that we thought was happening was a thing, like civilization. Oh, it fell a while ago. Consider the fact that if you put this into perspective, the whole thing fell 439 days ago when the show starts, a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
So it is exactly like Vince Gilligan is basically telling you. It happened over a long period of time, not like in The Walking Dead where it's like, oh, it seemed to happen all at once. And it happened before anybody was aware or had the wherewithal to actually notice it too.
Well, I think that was the goal. But like she said, the wrong people found out about it. And so they had to speed up the process. So then it was very noticeable because it was like everybody all at once.
When Pirate Lady is talking about how she had to accelerate her plan, because this is a very big point of contention.
It's not her plan, it's their plan.
You're right. Well, their plan, right?
The plan.
The plan, the biological entity thing. We'll talk about that more later.
Our plan.
I'm not there.
I'm just saying, like,
Am I?
Their plan. Their plan.
This individual is David Cameo. Anyway, so when she describes it and she says they had to accelerate their plan, does that imply that of the 800 and some odd million, which I do have the exact figure, but who cares, they had to by force take out some targets in order to spread?
Well, I think that they were using the chemtrails to spread it. So they had drones that could fly 40,000 feet above and drop. It wasn't armed, but when the doctors were working in the lab and doing their very choreographed germ spreading thing, they had to figure out how to aerosolize it. And that's how they ended up spreading it. That's why it caused so many accidents, because they had to do the people that were flying airplanes just out of nowhere. And
I think you discussing it just now made me unlock a specific scene that I saw that made me realize how fast they accelerated the process. Carol asks Helen, "Hey, can we go out for a smoke?" She goes, "Oh, you're smoking." And she goes, "Today I am," and whatnot. They go outside. As they're going outside, there is a shot. It's very deliberate.
Of the TV.
Of an air base on lockdown. This is the moment in which not Zosha, but Pirate Lady is talking about, is that's when they decided to accelerate it. Because when the airbase went on lockdown, that's when they shot the planes out and did the thing and all over the world. Because I was trying to figure out where does that even happen? So, okay, so it wasn't a bloody coup in a sense, is what I was kind of trying to suss. Because all throughout you're thinking just like Carol, am I to trust what they're saying, even though everything they've been saying is basically the truth?
It wasn't a bloody coup in the fact that they went in guns a-blazing and took out a bunch of people, but there was collateral damage, let's just say.
As a result of the change.
I have an entirely different alternate theory.
I do want to say real quick that it was funny that they covered their drinks before they left the bar, and then they got poisoned when they were outside. Women have to do that, you know.
It Good is, point. But if somebody, oh gosh, no man's ever going to figure out how to lift a napkin.
That's sort of what I was going to say in response to that.
For somebody to walk over and pick the napkin up and put something in, that's a lot more visually arresting than someone sneaking by and dropping something in your drink.
I guess I took it as we're still
Please
here.
Don't take these drinks away.
Right.
We'll be right
we're
back.
coming back.
Two things can be true, right?
Oh, absolutely.
The collective truth and also these girls' truth, or Carol's truth, really.
I have an alternate dispersal theory, how it was dispersed and how it affected everybody simultaneously, much like the zombie virus. We were all infected by some food, drink, whatever, because the chemtrails, okay, but I feel like there are going to be areas where something outside isn't going to, they were all in the bar and still all affected at the exact same time. Even if there's chemicals outside, it's going to take time to like drift it, like get through. Anyway.
So you're saying there's like a simultaneous delivery
I don't know
method.
that just in the air would be the most effective, I guess. But like food, drink, things like that. What if everybody was exposed to it and had it on board already? And then there was a trigger. And that's why everyone kind of sort of shut down and went into like reboot mode while they were all trying to connect their brain waves. And it just took that long for everybody on the planet to connect their hive mind.
What you're saying makes so much more sense because, like we're saying, okay, it doesn't pass muster that they just started with like the people in the North Pole and the South Pole and the military people and the astronauts and the Navy and all that stuff. So how do you contain that? That's what they say a lot about when it comes to conspiracy theories and who's in control, and how do you not allow a conspiracy theory to get out when there's so many people involved in the conspiracy? Mm-hmm. But what you're saying makes sense is if they started with one lab and had half the formula in everything, and I would even gather to say the easiest dispersal method would be, one would think is water, but water dilutes. I would say sugar. Sugar is basically in everything. And almost everybody has what would be the building blocks of sugar, like bread, whatnot. And if not bread, some sort of grain, right?
Sure.
Substrate.
Like The Last of Us.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's substrate.
Yes.
And even that substrate is composed of like wheat, and they have sugars in them. But you can only carry some of the RNA, which is, by the way, that's what the formula is for. ribonucleic acid, right? It's the DNA messenger sequence, basically. And the formula for RNA is guanine, uracil, adenine, and cytosine. That's the 4 molecular components of RNA. But I thought was pretty cool, right? It's the messenger. And they're just saying our DNA is now hyper connected. It's like the psychic glue. All our DNA is connected, basically. And we can all communicate with each other's DNA. Because again, human beings, we're essentially, one could say, the different races. Race is a social construct. We all have the same DNA. And now on the show, they literally are the same. So how about that?
Genetically, humans are only like 10% different from a banana. So
not at all different than most animals.
I think with chimpanzees, it's like 4% difference.
I don't even think it's that far apart, by the way.
Maybe it was like 98.4 or something like that. But anyway, it's very, very small differences.
So going back to your thing, Rachel, I think that makes a whole lot of sense. And then the air component being the joiner of the two things, like the sugars and the whatnots and the water.
Sure.
Yeah, and it could be more than one thing.
Yeah, maybe the chemtrails were like the last thing that was needed to trigger the whole mess of it all.
Or like a just in case measure.
It must be super, I don't know what word I'm looking for, but to not affect the animals we are so closely related to genetically, because they can't control the animals. I mean, they said when they let them out of the zoo, the animals attacked and mauled people. So
that's true.
Let's talk about that right after this, but I just want to close this one loop. Near the end of the second episode, Pirate Lady says to Kumba, I think it was, when asked, so are you vegetarians? She goes, we prefer it.
Yeah.
Which I thought was an interesting way of wording that. We prefer it, meaning it's not like we can't eat meat, or maybe they philosophically won't eat meat, but they can consume it. It's like, I guess if all options are off the table, they have to. Is that what you're to take from that?
She also said that they wouldn't kill animals, but if they were already dead, they'll prepare them. So maybe if it's something that they get from a supermarket, they would eat it. I don't know.
If you don't have people to work and kill the animals, then who's going to stock the supermarkets?
Well, they won't, but they're still going to prepare what's already there.
Waste not, want not.
Yeah.
They say they don't kill, yet they killed 846 million people. I guess they consider killing going in purposefully
like
killing something, but you still did something that caused the deaths of 846 million people.
Okay, so let's take Helen for an example real quick. I'm going to say, and maybe I'm wrong, Helen died as a direct result of whatever this thing is. We can assume there are deaths like that, and then also deaths that occurred, say someone's driving a car, and then they go into this state, and then they die as a result of a crash or an airplane or operating some sort of vehicle. Maybe they're on a ladder and they fall off. Maybe who knows? So there's going to be deaths that happened indirectly as a result. And then there's going to be deaths that happen like Helen, where maybe it was a bad reaction.
I think there are various shots that imply that many of the folks it just didn't take.
When Carol was home and she was looking out the windows and all the cars left, and then the truck pulled in and they went in and got the body out that had blood all over its face. It was bleeding like from the nose and mouth. And I don't know if you noticed, but Helen's eyes were red, like they were getting ready to bleed or something. She looked pretty rough. There were a lot of bodies in that trailer. That obviously didn't take. Later, Zosha, they were getting bodies that had been killed in accidents.
Yes.
Rather than ones that had died because of so like maybe they went and got all the people that died as a result. They went and got them first to hide it. Who were they hiding it from? Because everybody's in the hive mind.
See, and that goes to our paranoid brain, because I don't think it's that at all. My analytical brain would go, maybe they're trying to get whatever they can that they couldn't get before the process took hold. And I don't know how they get it. I'm not about to speculate how. The remaining memories.
Like studying the bodies?
Well, yes. If you want to effectively propagate your species, just like you're trying to figure out how to get these remaining people to convert to your religion. I'm kidding. You're going to also want to know what went wrong in case you come across other species that are similarly unaffected or affected. And you're going to want to perfect your formula, just like any supreme race of beings.
Well, I also think they just don't want dead bodies hanging around.
But the question was, why did they get the ones that didn't take first, is what I think was the question, wasn't it?
I mean, it's just rambling as things come to mind.
I'm with you.
I don't know if I can say for sure in which order they collected the bodies.
Me neither. If the question were to arise, oh, maybe that's what they were doing, I would say probably that's why. What went wrong here?
Yeah.
Why didn't it take is the point.
Yeah.
Their minds and bodies just couldn't take the fusion, maybe.
Maybe we'll figure it out. I mean, maybe the
I don't
show will
know.
actually explain it.
Maybe.
Pirate Lady said that Helen joined them before she passed, but did she
Clearly.
join them willingly, or did they hijack her thoughts and memories before she died? She smiled before she passed, but she could have just because she was looking at Carol, not because she was happy being in the hive mind or anything.
Okay, well, let's stay here. I like this. It's so good. Very delicious. Because did she smile because she resisted and stayed with Carol? Meaning the process isn't as Pirate Lady said it was. Like, oh, anybody who experiences it stays. No, it's very violent, and they do it anyway. They take the consciousness and the memories and all that stuff anyway to weaponize Carol, whatnot. Again, I'm not trying to be too conspiratorial, but even Pirate Lady explains, to us, it's like breathing. It's not a malicious act. And isn't that humankind also? Humankind just do what it do. Eat animals with abandon. They wreck whole forests and stuff like that. Just because we could.
I think that should be what separates us from the animals, is that we know we cannot do it and we don't do it. Animals just do what they do. Oh, my dog tore up something. Well, that's just what dogs do. But you don't expect a human, oh, Dave tore up a paper. Well, that's just what Dave does. That's not the way it works. Humans, Dave didn't tear the paper up because he's a human and he said, I need that later. Humans should be able to separate the animals. Animals just do what they do. Humans think about what they do, or they should anyway.
Animals follow their instinct, where we have thought process.
Right. Thank you. That's
we do a little
much
bit
better
of both.
way of saying the rambling I just did.
All I'm saying, even before all of that, is that what makes us too dissimilar from this being or this consciousness, let's say, this collective consciousness, not that much different. In the process of trying to live or exist, we do inadvertently, in many cases, sure, but also purposefully wreck certain ecosystems, whether it's animals, whether it's plant life, whether it's our own habitat. Sometimes, in some cases, well, even early on, we would poop where we drank until we figured out that was bad for us.
We as a species are the worst.
Hold on, I didn't mean it that way.
No, but we are actively destroying the planet we live on. Even
without all that speculation, we inadvertently do things, or just as a matter of existing all the time without.
It is very inadvertently. It is very much on purpose.
I don't want to get into that debate. I just want to hit on the
You open this door.
Oh, I didn't kick it open. I was like, is the door ajar?
You cracked it open, and I grabbed the handle, and
she
kicked you through it.
She's like, what are you pussyfooting around, bitch?
No, we're absolutely the worst.
Humans have the ability for critical thinking and the ability to change their actions
and self-reflection,
given information
you would
to act on. Whereas animals just, you say, do what they do. Now, you have some animals that will be trained to not do things, but that is with human intervention. Of course, most animals are smart enough to not poop where they eat. That's an instinct.
Yeah.
Apparently, humans don't have that one, or didn't for a while. But
and now animals, through evolution, will also learn things. They teach each other things. Sure, animals are going to learn that they can find food source in different places if necessary. Animals will adapt.
We've adapted. We're not that different. We just have
agreed.
Well, more natural and also intellectual tools at our disposal.
Agreed. But a human's like, oh, I need something better, so I'm going to destroy something or create something that damages the earth in order to achieve these goals.
Sometimes.
Most times.
They were vegetarian, right? So a dog is not going to voluntarily be vegetarian because that is not what a dog does. Dogs eat meat. That is what a dog does. Humans, on the other hand, have the ability to eat things other than meat and still be healthy. We make the choice to eat meat when we don't have to. And that is destructive. Believe me, the meat industry is one of the biggest problems on the planet. But we make the choice to eat that meat, whereas the dog doesn't make the choice. If the dog doesn't eat meat, it dies. It's not going to live on peanut butter.
A human's not going to be healthy and thriving if they don't eat meat either. We are naturally carnivores.
We have the ability to supplant that protein. We can still have diets without the meat and still get the protein and the iron, whereas animals can't. They don't have the ability.
But even that comes with a trade-off, by the way. In order to supplement the nutritional requirements necessary to completely replace, if you're to do that, right? To completely replace a meat diet, you're going to be decimating all the plant life that would take away from the animals.
I
that
mean,
end
if
up
we're
making them suffer
getting to
anyway.
that, then we're getting into the area where we just have too big of a population on the planet.
No, we're not going there. I'm not going there. No. Listen, we killed already 800 some odd million from the planet, which took out the billion that we gained in the last 10 years.
And then another 11.
That's another question I had, which was, she said that figure was as of this moment. Does that include Carol's outburst beforehand?
11 million died, and there were 11 people that weren't affected by the
12.
But then
they found a guy from Uruguay.
12 later, but that was after the 11 million had died.
True. Interesting. Well, they died before we found out about the 12th one. So they included the 12th and we're ruining our theories here, guys. Going to the argument that Kumba has with Carol about Pirate Lady. Pirate Lady doesn't want to get involved. Pirate Lady has no desires. They have that whole philosophical argument of, you're just going to let the Kumba sit there and have his way with you. And she basically makes it out to be that this organism has no desires. The only desire it seems to have is the betterment of the remaining individuals with free will left. Is that a take that everybody kind of is on board with? This kind of like Janist. Not only do we not want to kill people, we don't want to hurt their feelings or cause them any suffering too.
But their ultimate goal is to include them in the hive mind. The betterment of them is not a necessary thing because they're going to join the hive mind anyway.
But are they? I think this is a tactic to win them over and make them want to join them.
You would say that, wouldn't you, Rachel?
I somewhat agree with Rachel because, number one, this wouldn't be much of a show if there was some other kind of antagonism or problem going on behind it. So there has to be something else to it. It can't just be we want everybody to be happy.
That's why I keep saying I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop. Because right now, this sounds amazing.
She asked if it was aliens, and they said there's no aliens, not on this planet.
Right.
Well, is this alien invasion? She says it's not really, but...
Right. There are no aliens on this planet. So, I mean, what they're doing is they're telling the truth as much as they can, but it's still not the truth, you know?
Right. Because this code, whatever it is, came from 400 light years away?
600, yeah.
600 light years away. So not exactly the other side of the earth. It's alien in some form.
It's drifting. We could ski off that slope.
Does Vince Gilligan know about the alien ship that's hiding out behind the sun? I mean, was this... Vince Gilligan, he knew. He knows everything.
He knows everything.
He's a genius. Okay, so desires. Okay, so let me get on to what the tactic is, if you want to put it in so many words. Okay, think about what their weakness is.
Negative emotions.
Right. Now, the reason why they're being so pacifistic is if they're not the ones causing the actual rift between the two people, let's say, or different people, then they're not the ones who are going to get blamed when it doesn't go their way. It's their fault because they couldn't work it out for themselves. So they're the Switzerland of the remaining human race, let's say.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make more sense than the more conspiratorial sense?
Except Switzerland didn't take out 99.9% of the planet.
Switzerland was just breathing.
Beforehand.
It's just doing it what it do.
No, I think I'm right. I think...
I was just trying to give an alternate explanation for why they approach this no killing and not even no harming.
But if that were the storyline, it would be far less interesting if they were doing this as a ploy.
I think it's far less complicated if your theory is true, but I think it's so much more interesting if this is what why they do what they do.
Look, remember in Game of Thrones when Melisandre was about to sacrifice Gendry, and she's like, if the lamb sees the knife, it taints the meat. They're like, oh, look how nice
I don't disagree.
Everything is.
I totally agree with you.
Just be chill and calm, and your meat will be so much sweeter.
I'm just thinking, same conclusion, just different approach. Rachel's like, oh, don't let them see the knife. And I'm like, well, also, what else are we going to do? Because our survival is at stake if we upset these people. We have to keep them super, super satisfied. And maybe that actually also answers the question of why they let themselves be abused. To them, the few ladies that are in the cockpit of that Air Force One that are dressed skimpily, and even Pirate Lady herself using herself as a pawn, they're just but a fleck of dust in the organizational whole. If you really think about it clinically, rather than oh, she's an individual person. She's not really an individual person. She's just a fingernail off of the collective, not even a clipping, if you will. So of course they're, have your way with my fingernail clipping. Go, bye. kill it for all we care.
But every single person in the hive mind knows what's happening to you.
Yeah.
Equally true, yeah.
But then surely there's got to be someone in the millions of people who is into S&M and bondage. So you let them be the person who's being abused, and then everybody's happy.
Okay, I see. And so they can compartmentalize, basically, of their various personalities.
And then there's another person who knows martial arts and who could like kick his butt if he starts not acting appropriately. So.
But they're not violent. They can't hurt anybody.
But they can. But can't. I mean, can they not defend themselves?
I think it would be better if they didn't, because then the second they get violent with them, the whole system shuts down.
They're like fainting goats.
True.
They get stressed and they just fall over.
They are.
That's the fainting goat defense. Is like, oh, I'm dead. You don't want to eat me, right? So,
right.
Because then you feel bad. And you're like, oh, let me help you out.
Wait, so are you? Wait. Let's take a breath, because are you saying that they're glitching out could be a defense mechanism rather than a natural reaction to Carol's emotions?
Okay, so it is dangerous to them because they can die from it, obviously, as we've seen,
so
right?
To be clear.
But if Carol's yelling at you and freaking you out to the point that you go into spasms, then what is going to save you is you're going to make her so freaked out that she hurt you that she's going to stop. It is hurtful, but it's also partly a defense mechanism.
I don't think it's Carol's emotions that are killing them, though. I think it's a byproduct of what's happening, right? Kind of like the initial wave of everything. The one lady says her grandfather was driving a car and died in an accident when that happened. I don't think it's Carol's emotions that are killing them, but if they happen to be doing something while they glitch out that causes their death. If that makes sense.
I see what you're saying.
I see what you're saying, yeah.
They don't die because of her emotions. They're dying because they were doing something when they glitched out that caused their death.
All I was saying was it affects them. And if you want to even put it further, it disrupts their psychic glue, as Taffler.
Taffler.
Also, all those names in the show is weird. That's all I meant, is that it affects them. And to the extent that it does affect them, they could get killed.
Why would it affect all of the upper echelon of the government badly? Because he's like, the president didn't make it, he died, and all of the others didn't handle it well or something.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
All of the that's why the undersecretary of agriculture was the one talking to Carol.
I welcome our overlords.
I wonder if we find out if other people around the world who are in a position of power also didn't make it.
For the audience, Rachel is holding up air quotes.
Air bunnies, air bunnies, air bunnies.
Air bunnies, air bunnies.
Yeah.
I've never heard that before in my life, by the way.
Air bunnies?
Thank you.
Air bunnies. It makes sense though, right? Well, okay. Does it?
Listen, I don't have a conspiratorial brain, so that is very enlightening to me. I'm on the fence, but I love hearing it.
I know. Everybody's joined this hive mind and everybody's just like cool with it. Is there nobody part of this brainwaves that, I don't know, has an opinion? Apparently not. Apparently there are no opinions anymore. Before
we get into that, I think we should definitely discuss the animals. The what this thing is such a big conversation.
The animals is such an easy question to answer, though.
Is it, though?
Yes. We just had a whole conversation about how we're slightly different than animals, and it is enough.
To be different enough to not be affected?
Exactly. Yes. The same reason the zombie virus doesn't affect them.
What virus?
Sorry. The zombie virus.
I don't know what you mean.
Maybe it does on some level, and maybe they don't have to kill the meat because the meat will just die on its own, you know? Like, oh, my overlords have instructed me to die, so they don't have to kill me.
Because they mentioned, like, releasing dogs off leashes, opening the cages to the zoos, and some people got mauled.
I love the lady's like, I'm not giving up my dog. I was like, power, lady, I'm with you.
But your dog clearly would give up on you, because it sounds like the giraffe's not giving an F about the trees, and the dog's not giving an F about the owners. I think it's something that we need to watch, because my question was, given that the rat was the first thing you see assimilate, which is, we have to get to the root word of that, assimilate Dr. Jen with the bite, because the rat displayed the same symptoms as Jen and as the subsequent people that got kissed or bit or touched or licked as everybody else.
She licked all the donuts.
Yeah. Wow. So
rude.
Then, so like I put a footnote in that, put a pin in that, because later on I knew the conversation was going to turn to the zoo animals. And then Shumei talking about how there was a giraffe outside my window. Shoo, giraffe, shoo. And it didn't listen to me. So I was like wondering, were the animals also part of the hive mind? But then I realized, okay, if the animal was a part of the hive mind, then the giraffe would have shooed itself after Shumei said to shoo, because when Carol screams basically out loud to the converted people out in the cul-de-sac, I just want to be left alone, all the people in the entire cul-de-sac leave. I thought that was a function of their behavior. No, but that's actually them complying with Carol's wishes. They basically left her completely alone.
And the children said, give us a few minutes to clear out. So she said it to the children, and then the children were able to brainwave it
to the
to everybody
residents
else.
in the calls.
Well,
Yeah.
I think that was important too. It tells you what their purported desire is, to the extent that she wanted to be left alone. She wanted to be left completely alone. Maybe there was an interpretation. I don't know.
Well, I mean, all the cars left.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
And so you translate to that, to the animals, which didn't do as instructed. I thought that was actually kind of a tell on what the thing was able to affect and what it wasn't. But I am still wondering about the animals, because it feels like they're not. We talked about this on Fear the Walking Dead, how the animals weren't behaving to their normal patterns. Normally, herd animals would be herd animals. They would travel in packs and stuff like that. But in Fear the Walking Dead, post-apocalyptically, they stopped doing that. They started going out individually. Dogs would start hunting down people and stuff like that. Things would be unusual in the animal kingdom. And I think they're happening here too.
Maybe it depends on the order of the animals. Like the higher intelligence animals may not be affected as much as lower intelligence. Mammals are highly intelligent, so maybe they're not affected, but maybe lower.
Or maybe vice versa. I don't know.
Well, I mean, then.
And
then the
giraffes
dogs
are
would be
notoriously
affected.
dumb. Just want to say that out loud. They're dumb as s. I'm like, I have something of a bone to pick with giraffe. I did this on The Last of Us too. I just want to let you know. I'm so
Giraffes are
angry at them for
stupid.
being so
What
dumb.
did a giraffe do to you?
They're in a front.
They have long necks and he doesn't.
Exactly. Think you'd be all high and mighty with me, giraffe? You're dumb as rock. Kick rocks, giraffes. Kick rocks.
Tall and dumb.
Yeah.
Go tie your neck in a knot.
Yeah. Yeah, like a cartoon. Just go break your dumb neck with your dumb head. Anyway.
Yeah, I guess I didn't really question the animal thing because we've seen
I think
it
it's a
across
thread.
so many tropes. The zombie virus doesn't affect animals
Sure.
either.
Sure.
And so if we're dealing with anything even remotely similar, then it wouldn't affect the animals.
Man,
here
if I woke
either.
up one morning and there was a herd of moon-eyed cows standing out my door, just staring.
I'd be terrified.
Yeah. Which I have to say, like the shots where the people were behind her, walking behind her car and stuff, was so scary. It was so
Yeah.
scary.
So creepy.
Yeah. We just want to help, Carol.
Yeah, exactly. Let's talk about what this is, because it's a lot. Even Hideo Kojima, the creator of Metal Gear, basically the video game, who's done a lot of TV, movies, and even anime television shows. And of course, he does the game All the Walking Dead is famously known about, which is Death Stranding with Norman Reedus. And Norman Reedus and Hideo Kojima are best friends, basically. But he commented about this show. I just came across that right before we came on. And he says that basically it's a great play on Invasion of the Body Snatchers, which I thought was pretty close to what I was thinking. But of course, this series goes way beyond the usual tropes. Like, oh, let's take those tropes and invert every single one of them, basically. Zombie apocalypse, pod people, an outbreak, sickness that spreads. Oh, let's defeat it. Like Carol's trying to play into we know how this film ends. I just want to get your take on what this is. So let's start with Rachel.
Oh, geez.
Because I feel like you had some strong feelings about what it could be.
Honestly, at this stage, anything I say is going to be a complete shot in the dark. I really have no idea. I don't know. The simplest thing would be that it is aliens.
Like Robert Kirkman said.
I mean,
Space Force.
Let's say it is aliens and they send Earth this code and everyone is now infected with this not a virus.
Our stupid butts clicked on the link.
Yeah, seriously. Everyone on Earth clicked the link and now we're
We turn our
infected.
antivirus on, our SETI antivirus.
Yeah. Which has created this hive mind, which is just going to make it easier for some alien race to come to Earth and take over.
That's kind of where my mind was headed.
If it's humans from the future who are trying to save the Earth from what they know is going to happen in the future.
Well, if that's the case, then this is beautiful. And the hive mind, like I'm thinking right now, sounds awesome. But I don't
This
think
is
that's
very
the
well
case.
intentioned.
I think these first two episodes are meant to make us think, what's the problem here? Come on, Carol, get on board. And we're supposed to hate her right now because something's going to happen in the next few episodes. And all of a sudden we're going to go, oh crap, she was right.
I started to say something earlier before we came on, but I stopped myself because you were angry at Carol, but she's trying to preserve our way of life. She's trying to preserve humanity. On most shows, like The Walking Dead, that's what our heroes are trying to do, is preserve our humanity among the loss of humanity. But because the loss of humanity is people being nice, everybody's like, oh, Carol's a bee. She wants to change everything. She wants to destroy this. But in reality, she's the one who's trying to save it. And because of that, we're mad at her. Because they're nice, they're being nice, and we're like, oh, they're nice people, they're just trying to help us.
They are what you're trying to save, basically. Is that what you're saying, in a way?
Oh, I'm just saying that right now everybody thinks Carol's the worst, but she's just trying to do what all the heroes and all of our TV shows we watch are trying to do.
She's doing what we want her to do.
Well, she's just doing it in a very unlikable way.
Well, she's got baggage. What do you want?
She obviously wasn't the most pleasant person. But then again, actually, I was watching that. I was like, oh my God, is that what celebrities feel like when we're at the conventions and stuff? Like, is that really how they feel? But we're seeing her at the worst times, right? When Helen is like, maybe you should write the book that you want to write instead of this
bitter
trash.
chrysalis.
She cheered right up. Yes, this is what I want to do. So we're seeing her at the worst times of her life. We're seeing her at an event she feels is not beneath her, but she's wasting her time writing crap. Even though it's made her money and everything and made her famous, that's not what she wants. She wants to explore deeper things and do better things. And she can't because she's stuck in this rut. So the instant that she has the opportunity, she perked right up. But then immediately after, her wife died and the world went to crap. And now she's a little bit angry and bitter about it. And I really don't blame her. When she and Helen were together, it was kind of fun, right? They were good together. They were cute. She was smiling and laughing. But now that Helen's gone, we're just seeing the worst of Carol. We didn't get the opportunity to see any good out of Carol.
We're seeing Carol out of balance.
We're seeing Carol at her worst, and we're judging her on that.
And isn't that everything Vince Gilligan does?
Absolutely.
Walter White's the villain of the show.
Right now, she seems very unlikable because they're painting this hive mind in such a beautiful light. Think about the people sitting around the table, and they're like, well, have you asked anyone what it's like? Because they all say it's wonderful. Well, first of all, of course they're going to say it's wonderful.
I was a little too busy mourning my dead girlfriend, my dead wife that was killed
she's
by
the
these
only one that's
people.
alone. That's the outlier
Of
factor.
course they're going to say it's wonderful because eventually down the road, they want you to join them. They're not going to tell you that it's horrible. They're not going to say anything bad about it.
I think she said the perfect response. I don't ask a heroin dealer how great his product makes me feel.
Right, you're not going to get the star reviews from when you ask the dealer themselves, right? And Kumba is the same, though, as her. He has nobody either, it seems like, at the very least. But he, again, opposite of the black and white cookie, he is leaning into it where she is like, please no, this is scary. And yet everybody in between, like you said, and even he thought to ask, is it great? Even though he probably still won't go for it. Which is interesting. I would like to know more about him.
Well, I mean, he's enjoying it because he gets to live out his frickin' fantasies with no repercussions and no reckoning for what he's doing, which, I mean, he's not forcing these women, but they have no resistance. So in a sense,
no desire.
He is forcing them. And it's just like, oh, I get to fly around and then Air Force One, like he's enjoying it. Whereas Carol's on this, she's like, no, this is not. But would she be different if Helen hadn't died?
I was just going to ask that question.
Let's stay here because that's the question, isn't it? Every nice thing that's happening to her, an expression of Helen, which is why, in a sense, she's rejecting it because it isn't Helen, but it is Helen. This is what's very confusing, is that you have to keep that in mind. Everything that's being provided for her or relayed to her, or when they're speaking to her as Helen would put it, in a way that would be most receptive to her, and yet she still herself is resisting it. It's getting to what I think this series is about. Because like you said, she is the most miserable person in the world, whether it was before or after this, whatever apocalypse is.
I think it's just right now. Well, we don't know Carol before.
I think this is what the series is about. Everybody else seems to be content with what's happening right now. All the surviving members of the world, let's say.
Yes, agreed.
Who's the only outlier? Who is our quote-unquote protagonist of the series, if not the most miserable person in the world? And what if the world is Helen trying to create an environment for her to be happy?
Okay, when I said right now, what I meant was as a product of what's happening. We don't know if she was a miserable person before this, is what I'm saying.
There's a tell. When you guys were talking about her 4.5-year serious book, Bitter Chrysalis, basically, which is basically what she's in right now. She's in a bitter chrysalis, and she will one day emerge as a beautiful butterfly. Who knows? But for right now, she's a bitter chrysalis. And when Carol asks Helen what she thought of the book, she didn't say, I like it. She said, people will like it.
People will love it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think that's a really good tell. Like, even her own wife thinks she's not a good writer, basically, I think. And she put it to her nicely, just like all the collective is trying to soften the blow of the 11 million she killed with her outburst. All I'm trying to say is, like, in my own head, I think what's great about the series so far, I want to be on your side, Rachel, but now I have to take the other side because you're on that side.
What's my side?
I think your side is like, I don't trust him, not for a moment. I'm Carol, because a couple episodes later, they're going to show Carol was right all along. I'm like, I'm not on that train actually now. I'm on the, it would be great if every single episode, all the way to the end of the first season, the only antagonist is Carol. Resisting all the way till the end. Wouldn't that be interesting? We are notorious for, no matter where you are politically, what background you come from, every one of us will find ourselves at one point in our lives getting in our own way.
Sure.
Right? Wouldn't that be key conflict in the series? Is Carol basically getting in her own way? Every bit of conflict in the series is caused by Carol as a result of environmental factors. The pressure that is being introduced in the series, mainly the collective. But at every point in time where you think this is peace on earth, whatever, she can't trust it. So she has to do something to cause further conflict in the series.
So did you get the feeling that Zosha, pirate lady, there's something left in her? Because when Kumba was like, I wanted her to go with me and everything, she did not seem like she really wanted to go with him. And it wasn't just a passive, I have to do it. You could tell she did not want to go. Because I'm sitting here thinking, like, what is the point of Carol getting her off? Because that's obviously why she stopped his plane, was to get Zosha back.
Mm-hmm.
Carol getting her off.
Grow up, David.
Never.
Anyway,
of Carol trying to get her off the plane at the end of the episode.
If not, right? I feel like she's going to become some kind of an ally because she's in the hive mind, but she still has her own wants, at least feeling that she doesn't want to do what she's going to do. And when he's like, I can't choose between you, but you could tell she definitely wanted to choose me.
Please choose me. She
definitely wanted to choose between them.
I would argue it's not so much Zosha as it is Helen.
So that's what I was trying to say a little bit, is that isn't this whole thing a construction of whatever's left of Helen in a sense?
We know that her memories at least are part of this hive mind. They're very much using this against Carol.
It's a lot to take in, first of all. Well, I can see why it's so hard to grasp.
Yeah, because I'm not going to say that Zosha is any part of Helen. And it brings up another question. Even though everyone is connected, can you still draw in your own thoughts at any point? Because if your mind is part of this whole hive thing, can you still be you?
Is there any part left in their brains that is them? Like, is there a little pocket of consciousness left that is still them inside? Maybe that's coming out.
Oh, right. That's
when
tough.
I think about this hive mind, I don't think about everybody sort of getting wiped clean and now they all have one thought process. What I see is every single fiber connecting. Okay, when they're at the dinner table and Carol says to the little boy, he asks what kind of speculum he would use, because someone in the hive, more than one someone, would be a gynecologist. That's what I'm saying. So Ravi would be able to draw the answers from these particular individuals. So the individual people are still part of the collective.
Right, because she has the bottle of water and she's like, what's in it? And the pirate lady's like, it's just water. That's what so-and-so says. She's like, who is so-and-so? He's the guy who bottled it in Winston-Salem, North Carolina on May 8th. And he said it should only have water in it.
Months ago.
Right. Yeah. And then she also had to ask the people around the other people who aren't connected if they wanted to meet Carol. Yes. Because she totally zoned out for a second. Carol's like, are you okay? She's like, yeah, I'm okay.
It's like a walkie-talkie system almost.
Yeah. In order for her to communicate with the guy who bottled the bottle of water, they still have to have their own personal memories. Otherwise, she would have just been able to be like, yeah, it was bottled at this plant on blah, blah, blah.
But not their own personalities. that's kind of where I'm headed, is that you can borrow from the collective memory of every person that ever existed.
We don't know that yet because we've had very little.
That's what we were told.
Interaction with any of the people other than the pirate lady and the few seconds we get with the people who weren't affected.
Yeah.
It's not like we've had a lot of interaction to see what they like, if they have any kind of personality to them or not.
What I would say is like, you can't prove a negative. So as much as we want to put our own desires on this collective of that they do actually have a personality, I think it's just the one personality.
No,
of the collective of
I disagree.
human existence.
I disagree. And
I know
think,
you will.
And I think that and here's why you're wrong, David. So at the
I mean, I'm not, because you have no evidence.
I do, and I'm going to give it to you right now. When they're at the dinner table and it's panning around and it's showing the non-infected having conversations with their family members, they're family members. They're still conversing and talking as if they're family. Ravi's mom, Lakshmi, yes, he has all of this collective knowledge, but still acts like her son. I'm
going to try to prove your point, though, because even Lakshmi's mother is talking to her husband, both of whom are in the collective.
Exactly.
But I will say still,
they're having conversations.
Who is that for?
I don't think it matters. I think you're asking the wrong question.
I think it's a perfect question. Listen, we may not have an answer.
No, the point is they're doing it. The point is they can do that, which means they can be the person that they are identifying as.
They can assume the personality of the people. Who benefits from them having a facsimile of a conversation that they would typically have? Who benefits
this
from
is
that?
the whole point. We haven't seen how any of them. We haven't seen how any of them interact when they're together.
Without the non-infected.
We haven't seen any of that. So we don't know how they are when there aren't uninfected people around.
That's why I say you can't prove a negative.
Didn't we though? Wait, no, we did. We did at the beginning of the episode when there was no dialogue. Dialogue.
Because they didn't need to have dialogue. They're all the same organism. I'm trying to tell you that. To whom does it benefit for them to speak to each other?
What are all the other people in the world doing then? Just standing around waiting for someone to talk to? I mean, what are they doing?
It's like an ant colony. They're collecting nutrients.
They're working. Exactly. They're working.
Isn't that crazy?
They're cleaning the earth. They're collecting bodies. They're fixing broken things. They're doing jobs. They're doing work.
And maybe, like you said, maybe they're preparing the earth for the alien invaders.
I just want to say,
yes, exactly.
I love when the guy was hanging from the crane and she's trying to fix it and she's just dragging him on the side of the building.
We're okay.
And then he wakes up and he's like, it's okay, Carol.
Thank you.
We're okay, thank you. Please don't mess me up my one fingernail or clipping more than it already is.
Oh my God, that was so funny. Thank goodness he had a hat on because she was just dragging him right away.
His face was
like scraped. It would have been fine.
It was so funny. Okay.
It would, or they would have repaired themselves.
Would they? They're still human.
Do they eat?
You know.
Do they actually eat?
They have to.
She answers the question.
They have to eat.
They have to keep the body nourished. Yeah.
And I'm sure they don't need like elaborate. See, this is another human thing. Why do we need elaborate meals that taste incredible? They probably need the very bare minimum.
High nutrients.
I'm sorry, but if I have the hive mind of a freaking chef, I am making some delicious food.
But if you have no desires, right? If you have no preferences, I mean, you have preferences, but only in as much as it does not cause harm to any living being. But you don't have any personal preferences on mating or anything like that.
But what did she say? She said they enjoy the pleasures
of the people that weren't infected.
It was specifically. Now I don't remember the context.
Well, and their own bonding itself is a pleasure.
They have to mate, otherwise they're going to end the human race. Well, if they don't, they're going to end the human race.
That's a question, because they themselves are one organism, and if that's the case, their collective hive mind, let's say, if that's the case, they only need to breed in as much as what's minimally required, because organisms and life itself, in terms of efficiency, it does the bare minimum it needs to perpetuate itself. Save for humans, because we're effing extra, but they only need to eat as much as they minimally need to survive, maybe a little extra in case of natural disasters, but also they would only breed as much as minimally required.
If they figure out, hey, we need 1.6 billion babies per year, then they're going to have 1.6 billion babies per year.
Right, because if they breed too much, they may not have apportioned enough food.
Right.
Well, yeah, they would produce more than is there to consume.
Correct.
Right? Anyway, listen, ordinarily, this would be effing boring as sin But what is the fascinating point? The antagonists are the people that remain. Because, right, you have this perfect society. They're the protagonists. It's so Vince Gilligan. They're the protagonists. And our antagonists are the people we're cheering on, yet they're the worst.
Well, I loved that Pirate Lady pointed out that they can't protect the non-hive people from each other. Well, like they can't even defend themselves. In order to save another human, could they stop another human?
And they can't.
Right.
It's the non-aggression principle taken to the extreme. We don't interfere no matter what.
Because they'd get yelled at and then they'd all faint. The little fainting
Exactly.
goats.
You're following. She's on my train.
Man.
I love it. Because it's detrimental to them, to their survival.
I love how now everybody's like, Carol, watch your temper. Carol, calm down.
See, they're keeping themselves in check.
Carol.
If Helen was one of the people in danger because she couldn't keep her temper, would that help her keep her temper?
So Helen survived. She's now part of the hive mind. And Carol needs to keep her temper. Otherwise, she's hurting Helen. I think Carol as a character would be entirely different if Helen were still alive. I don't think we'd be seeing the same character.
That's what I was saying before about we're seeing Carol right now as a Carol out of balance because Helen was the only thing keeping her in balance.
Mm-hmm.
And now the hive mind is trying to assume Helen, but is being rejected because it's not Helen.
It's like Starman with Jeff Bridges and Karen Allen. When Jeff Bridges is an alien and he comes down to Earth, he crashes on Earth and he finds his way to this cabin where Karen Allen lived with her husband. Her husband had died. So he watches a bunch of videos and stuff and has this magic thing because he's an alien. And he takes the body of her husband so that he can get her to take him to the meteor crater in Arizona where his ship is going to come pick him up. But in order to keep her calm and not freak out because it's an alien, he takes the shape of her husband. Of course, taking the shape of your dead husband might freak you out a little bit more than seeing an alien. But anyway, the movie's super good. The movie's super good.
Yeah, that's exactly what now we're coming on to, is that maybe this is all for her.
We have an Earth full of Jeff Bridgeses.
and let's even take this a teeny bit further. What would it take for Helen to be happy? Is basic because they covered basically. Sorry. Yeah, Carol. Carol to be happy. That's I said Helen, didn't I?
Yeah.
You said Helen.
For
like
Carol
being
to be
alive.
He's
that
gonna
might
do
help.
it again. Would it though? Would Carol be like happy? She's a very miserable person.
So Helen would be a lot happier if she
Helen
were
would be
alive.
right.
She needs to read Bitter Chrysalis to the hive mind and get their unanimous opinion on it.
The series finale.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. And you're like, yeah, it's great. And then they'll still say it sucks. But Carol would be like, that's fair. And that I'm finally happy. I got an honest answer. Because to the point of, let's take this seriously for a minute. She criticizes her own work and nobody will call her out on it. Everybody seems to love it. I think in a sense, she just wants one person to say, be honest with me. My own wife isn't being honest with me. Like Pirate Lady, she's not saying the thing that would cause her harm. Because I think at one point she is reading a review and she doesn't say what the review is. She just skips over it when she was reading the reviews.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's the same thing as Pirate Lady does. She won't say how many people she killed because she doesn't want her to feel bad about that. Isn't this whole hive mind now taking the form of Helen?
It's not working for them very well, though.
No. But I think that's where the conflict is. I think that's pretty fascinating.
They're trying to know what she's thinking and they can't. And because they always had thinking just given to them, they're having a hard time dealing with what they're supposed to do with her when she won't do what they think she's going to do. She's unpredictable and they can't deal with that.
Imagine having the entire host of humankind all in a collective, including therapists, right? Mm-hmm. And maybe even mentalists and people who would take it, like people with Machiavellian tendencies to manipulate humankind. The president, him or herself, right? Like sociopaths who are trying to manipulate Carol. You have all these people and you still can't get her to keep her happy or to keep her satisfied.
Well, I think what they're getting at is that people with no one and nothing to lose are dangerous. Because really, she has nobody and she has nothing to lose
and she is pretty miserable as a person too.
She was unfulfilled in her creativity. She hated the crap she was writing. Did you catch the little misery moment with the lady at the bookstore? Is Raban coming back? Did he die? I just can't. If he dies, I just can't go on.
That is a good point.
Yeah.
Nicely done. Oh. And then like to avoid the misery situation, page 238. Oh, She just avoided a mass murder. Well, that wouldn't.
The guy with the sword who's like, oh, by the way, that boat wouldn't have a mizzen mast because there's only 2 masts on it. She was like, yeah, take your sword and get out of here, bud.
That was the most realistic scene.
And tell the people why we know. It's because we're so heavily involved in the Walking Dead universe, and we see people like that coming out of the woodwork.
Oh, yeah.
Or you just go to Reddit. He is Reddit.
He's Reddit. He's the living human Reddit in flesh.
Only the thing is, he's much nicer than people on Reddit.
I'm pretty
sometimes.
sure Vince Gilligan has seen his share of fan conventions, so he knows what to expect.
That was probably a quote from someone he met.
That would be nailed. Pardon my French. It was literal French. I was going to say one more thing about what this is, and I would say less pod people, more we are the Borg. Resistance is futile. But inverted, because it's not like we are the Borg, but your life is yours to keep. Do you know what I mean? It's like resistance is totally justified, but please don't, because it hurts us.
Yeah.
Resistance would be offensive, actually. I'm triggered by your offense.
They really mean it when they say they don't kill.
They don't harm, even.
Yeah, they won't even harm, because they could just kill these 12 people who are non-infected. And then the hive, they wouldn't have to worry about them anymore if they could just kill them off.
I think you just touched on something, though.
Only 12 people.
Right. What's stopping them?
What's 12 more after 864 million? I mean,
exactly.
Right. Which inadvertently, let's say the majority of them are inadvertent. I'm down with that.
Exactly.
We already said the first part of the answer, which is, okay, it's them saying to themselves as a hive mind, what went wrong here with these 12? Can we harness it? And can we bypass it?
Maybe resistance is what will end up destroying them in the end.
That's another reason to keep them around, is because how do we get past this?
It's their kryptonite, so...
It's Carol Night. Crypto Carol Night. I hate everything. I'm sorry.
If given the choice, would you join the hive mind?
I really do feel both sides of Carol and Kumba.
His full name is Kumba Diabate.
Would I like to have everybody in the world waiting on me hand and foot and doing everything I want? Yes. But for what? If everybody I love and everybody I know and everybody I care about is a mind zombie, then what good does it do me to keep going? Because eventually the doing whatever I want and having everybody do for me is going to either get bored or they're going to figure out how to assimilate me anyway.
It's super isolated too.
In someone like Carol's position where I'm all alone and I have nobody else, I don't know, maybe I would. But would I want to make them work for it as long as possible? Yes. Go get me the Air Force One.
I want to know how the other side lives.
And let the kid fly it who's from TGI Fridays.
Specifically, because I know that Carol would get a kick out of that, says Helen in the collective. I wouldn't. Do you know why?
That's kind of why we're here.
There's 2 reasons, one of which you're very well aware of. One, actually, you're probably well aware of both. One is I'm super stubborn.
Really?
You tell me what to do. I know, it's a shocker. You tell me what to do, I won't do it. I won't do it, ever. And that's why our podcast is as many numbers as it does. Second thing is, human supremacist. Come on, guys. I don't even like animals. It's, come on. Human supremacy all the way.
But what is more supreme than one human, all humans being one? That is like the supreme human.
The essence of being human is the ability or right to make mistakes. And I'd rather make my mistakes individually rather than collectively.
They are making mistakes. They made a bunch of big mistakes when they didn't.
They made 866 million mistakes.
Their mistakes were they didn't manage to get everybody under their thumb. So they are making mistakes. They're making mistakes in the way they're trying to do Carol. So I think you have to find another definition there, Dave.
I'm just don't want. I don't wanna. I'm going back to the first reason. Also, to be human is not to be part of the collective. It is individuality.
I think about myself. I like watching TV. I like watching movies. All those things that I like to do will no longer exist.
Well, no, everybody's already watched it, so you're enjoying it now as a part of the collective. So.
And furthermore, you wouldn't be bothered by that.
Yeah.
You wouldn't think, oh, I don't get to watch this or that or do this or that.
Because you're part of a collective experience.
Those feelings would be gone. You wouldn't have the feeling of regret.
What if all those people still have that little corner of their mind that they're still human in and they can't get it out.
Yeah, it's a series of trade-offs, though. I think, Rachel, I love your question because this is touching on a topic that I actually had written in my notes, which was, isn't what's happening here, isn't that what death is? Death is just going home to the pool of collective shared experience. Isn't that what some people define death as?
I don't know. I've never died before.
Have you, though? You could be reincarnated.
Maybe I die every night when I go to sleep.
You could be in the hive mind and live like the Matrix.
Yeah.
You're just recharging your batteries in the Matrix.
I'm going to be really disappointed if this turns out to be a Matrix-y type thing.
You are but a drop being flecked off the ocean. Your life is a drop spraying from the ocean, only to eventually come down back into the collective ocean, the collective molecular water that covers the earth, let's say. Your life is the arc of that drop. And everything you experience with that leap, it's just you coming back to your natural state. The moving water, let's say, the moving collective of water that is of a big part of water, that it is an ocean on a planet. You having that individual experience out of that water, out of that collective, that's your individual experience that you're bringing home when you finally land.
So are you saying that you share that with everybody when you are back in the collective pool?
Correct. And I think that was even stated. Kusimayu says that to Carol, basically. I want what you say is my individualness. I want to be able to share that with my family. I want to be able to share that with the world. Mm-hmm. That's what basically clicked on for me. It's like, oh, this is exactly like that one person said about, actually, I'll quote it directly. It's the Pete Holmes podcast. Pete Holmes, the comedian, he explains that's what he sees death as, is you coming home, as you being that drop, finally returning to the ocean of water. In a way, should we fear it? So again, Carol is the enemy of this of the show. She's preventing her from doing that.
I just want to say that Carol's not a bad person.
No,
though.
I'm just joking.
I mean, but what I'm saying is, like, she's the miserable person, whatever, but she's not a bad person. When she sees people that need help, she tries to help. Like when she sees the baby about to fall off the counter.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, when she looked into the seat, the baby seat, and you could see the look on her face, like, oh my God, okay. The guy hanging from the crane, her first instinct was to try to help that person. So she's not a bad person. She's just not a happy person. Happiness has nothing to do with whether or not you're a good person.
It's mutually exclusive from what she is trying to be as a human, basically.
Right. When the guy crashed his truck, she was the first one to run over there and see if he was okay. So she's not like a person who's just going to walk by people who are suffering, which is also why when she turns around at the end, when her anger makes everybody glitch, and she turns around and actually sees what she did. It was very abstract before, because the only person that she saw it affect was Pirate Lady. But when she sees it happen in front of her, people with their families, it wasn't like she didn't feel anything at all.
She let her addiction trump her, I guess, her being careful about that fact. First of all, she couldn't handle being told good riddance, right, from Lakshmi. And then she's just like, first of all, she'd already been drinking herself to oblivion. And then when she falls, it's kind of like, well, of course, now she's lost all control.
Carol's very relatable.
She is the vehicle, by the way.
Yeah, she is relatable. Very relatable.
She's us. She's doing all the things we expect.
Which is why I can't stand her, because what, David?
We hate others while we hate ourselves.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's also my
you
notes
fell
somewhere,
into
I
my
think.
trap.
That's right. Who are you? Who are you? Who is this person? I came on here thinking we wouldn't have much to talk about. Of course, we're hitting on the big themes and blah, 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 and whatever. But like I thought an hour maybe. It's an hour 55 right now. Then again, it's 2 episodes. So
nobody asked me if I would join the hive mind.
You're right. Well, I am curious though. Would you though?
I honestly don't know. If I'm going to answer this question for Carol, I
want to know you.
I know, but my thought process starts with Carol, and it's the knowledge of Carol's memories being part of this web. That might be enough for me to want to be a part of it too.
Because you'd be part of Helen
if
too.
If that makes sense. Because if she believes it, and that's a whole other question, right? If she believes what she's being told, that Helen's memories are part of this web.
She has no reason to think otherwise too, by the way.
It's true, because everything she has seen has proven that this is true. It would be a way of getting a piece of Helen back. Getting
Helen 24/7, be rejoining her.
Basically,
but in a new and even more profound way that you didn't have before.
I think from that perspective, kind of like Kusumayu, she says, I want to share who I am with everybody else. And the reverse of that would be, I want everyone else a part of me, and vice versa.
Let's ask the obvious question though, right? Given what you see from Carol right now, would you be ready to share that part of you or all the parts of you with everything else or everybody else in existence right now? Given how the fact that she killed 11 million, who knows how many she killed after her second outburst.
Well, and I mean, sounds like you're taking a risk too, because what if you're one of those 11 million that Carol kills? That would kind of stink. But it sounds like, from everything we've heard, once you're part of this, if Carol were to join everyone, she wouldn't have this anger anymore, and it wouldn't be an issue. You wouldn't be feeling Carol's anger. It would be gone.
Right. It's kind of like, homeopathy.
Yes.
Homeopathy is how you drop a tiny bit of the thing that ails you in, was it 1/1000th of water? And that's your remedy, essentially. That's basically what Carol would be. You'd be an insignificant nothing in an ocean of, it would have no effect. So yeah, you would be healed in that sense.
It would be awesome to have the knowledge to do anything you wanted to do. Like, for instance, be able to climb into a plane and fly it. But you would have all that knowledge and ability, but for what end? Because you could not use it to gratify yourself anymore. I want to go fly to Paris, so I'm going to go get a plane and do it because I have that knowledge. Unless the hive agreed. Yeah, so what would be the point of having all that ability and knowledge if you couldn't use it for anything?
We'd all be a bunch of ants, and we're just doing everything to, my assumption is to better the planet.
Well, and then to what end, really? Is it all biological imperative? Did we lose something?
We're getting it ready for another species.
Species. Electrician transfer.
As far as joining the hive mind, loneliness is a powerful motivator.
Yeah, well, it's what we're saying about.
She's doubly lonely.
Yeah.
Because not only does she she doesn't have Helen at all, not even in the hive mind state. So she is completely alone.
Yeah. Have you ever had a dream where you wake up and you're the last person on Earth?
Mm-hmm.
I've had those dreams.
Do you remember the recurring nightmare I shared with you? I was the only one around and nobody could hear me. I was the ghost roaming the land of the living.
People were here, they just couldn't hear you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They were just moving on, whatever. Yeah. It's kind of like that.
I've had that dream too.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
It's like that. And of course, even in those dreams, there's like that glimmer of like, they heard me. That person heard me. And it's like, did they hear you? I don't know. It seems like they're very different than you right now.
You need Whoopi Goldberg to be your medium.
No, thanks.
You have a nice life. You have a nice death.
Sayonara.
The part where she first calls the Undersecretary of Agriculture and they're like, "Hello, Carol," and she's like, "Yep." Just so funny. It was so funny. I mean, what do you say in that situation? You know?
Yeah, yep. I'm with her.
And he's just going on and on. And she's like, "Okay."
I have to add another brick to this log about Carol, about this whole thing being an invention for Carol. When she's reading the book in the book reading for the release of her book. Oh, was it The Winds of Waikaro? Say it right. Say it right, Dave.
Waikaro.
The scene that she's describing. Let me just point this out. Because who is Raban in the story, but actually her? Because she says haughty and...
Well, Raban was supposed to be Helen.
Proud and hot. Well, ideally, right? But of the two, who is more haughty and proud? But
I didn't read it as haughty and proud. I read it as disappointed in what she's doing.
Well, she did sacrifice her pride. Well, maybe Raban is technically Carol's opposite, like the opposite personality of herself, because she has nothing to be proud of, according to her own standard. Raban is an expression of who she imagines herself to be, let's say, or who she could be. Well, either way. So Lucasia is essentially Carol right now. Lucasia is the captain of the ship. Raban is gone. Raban jumped into the purple sand that this ship is gliding on, essentially. And as a temporary pleasure measure, she satisfies herself with the deckhand, right? The pleasures of the captain, right? But it's pales in comparison to Raban, essentially. Because I know she's reading the opening pages of her book.
Actually,
right?
that was like fairly in the middle of the book, if you look at it.
Yeah, or something to that effect. I know that by the time, because Raban's not on the cover, well, where is Raban? Where's Helen? I just think it's interesting because by the end of the first episode, let's say you didn't watch the second episode, you can't distinguish Lucasia from Carol at that point because Carol is alone. It seems like everybody on the ship, even the deckhand, I think at some point, because there's an implication that the deckhand himself is gone after that and that she is left alone. They're wiping up all the blood from that. Apparently there was a bloody battle, right? And isn't that what happened? They're cleaning up after this thing happened. And who's left alone but Lucasia? It's interesting.
So the show was originally going to be called Waikaro 33.
Shut up.
Pluribus.
Why?
They didn't.
Wait, what's the 33?
I don't know. It might be something. Let me make sure it was 33. I might have the number
Plant
wrong.
a flag. Let's put a flag in that because maybe there'll be a reference to like what the 33 is of that. Wasn't it called the Winds of Waikaro?
It was Waikaro 339 was supposed to be originally.
339.
Yeah. I don't think they've said what Waikaro is unless it's the place or something, because it's called the Waikaro series, and this one is Blood Song of Waikaro or something like that, I think was the name of it.
I think the book series is called Winds of Waikaro.
Yeah.
Because of the ship, right? And I guess the ship is called Waikaro.
So the truck that she ended up with also has a unicorn with purple lightning behind it. So she's the unicorn in this situation.
Corn. Also, why Caro? So why Caro is why Carol? Why? Anyway, I have a treat for you. Before I forget, before we close out this episode, there is a number on the screen that Carol has to call to get to Tafferty, the Agriculture Undersecretary Agriculture. I called it, and guess what happens?
You're gonna play us the clip?
It's basically the outgoing message on the answering machine Helen and Carol have. That's what you get when you call the number on the screen, basically. So let me just play that for you right now. Yeah. And it's actually a business called Al's Wheels, which I think that's from a Vince Gilliverse, the Gilliverse somewhere, Al's Wheels. But let me play this for you right now. This is what you heard on the show.
Hi, you've reached 505-796-6933. We're on the French Riviera drinking champagne. We are not here in our sweatpants screening your call. Make it a good one.
They literally aren't. If they were on the French Riviera drinking champagne, why would the Guggenheim be on Helen's bucket list? Did you make time for it? What do you have to do? You definitely toured New York.
Before the show came out, there was a number that you could call, which I called after watching one of the previews. It was very vague, but it was definitely the Hive Mind people.
Oh, yeah. We could try calling it.
Well, it's the same number, right? Or is it a different number?
I think it was a different number.
It might be the same number, but let's find out. If it is the same number, it'll say something different, but let's see.
David, the number that you just played for us, that's the outgoing message for an actual business?
It's a two-parter. So the number on the screen is to call the Undersecretary of Agriculture, but when you call it, you get their outgoing message for their answering machine, right?
Who is there?
Helen and Carol. The only thing is that when you dial the number, the caller ID, sometimes when you call something, it shows their caller ID.
Yes.
And of course, when you get it, the caller ID says Al's Wheels.
Oh, okay.
So it's interesting. That is a reference to something, but I don't know exactly what it is. I did look it up, but
Al's Wheels, as in his wheels, he owns the wheels.
Yes. A-L
could be short for Albuquerque.
Yeah, there you go. Okay. And there's also a play on visuals too, because there is an AI-ness to everything that's going on, right? If you have the collective consciousness of humankind and there's a psychic glue between all the people that was in the hive mind, how would you regulate that if not by artificial intelligence?
Al's Wheels is likely a reference to the nickname for the specific car, a 1976 Fleetwood El Camino from the TV show Breaking Bad, which was created by Vince Gilligan. The car was a significant element in the show's narrative and was used by the main characters. Al's Wheels, this refers to the nickname given to the 1976 Chevy used by Jesse Pinkman and Walter White.
Wasn't that what the car that was meant to be returned? Oh no, that's the kid's car. Was it also an El Camino?
No, that was a Charger.
That was a Dodge.
That was Glenn's Charger.
I do want to mention this on the side though, because Lucretia is the captain of the ship of the Waikaro.
Yep.
I don't know, whatever. Raban was supposed to be another woman, right? The Corsair.
Correct. The first edition Raban.
There is a sort of mirroring of this concept at the very least to, have you ever seen the show Our Flag Means Death? It's really, really good.
Okay.
It revolves around a Corsair. No, it's Blackbeard. It's Blackbeard.
Okay.
And a dandy pirate basically getting together and having a male homosexual relationship, basically.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But it's so funny. It's super absurdist
Is it supposed
funny.
to be funny?
Oh yeah, it's supposed to be funny.
Okay.
It's meant to be taken humorous. There's like tinges of seriousness, right? There's like a tinge of, oh, I want them to win, like that sort of, it's kind of lovely. The pirates aren't as, at least on his ship, aren't as what would typically be construed as pirates. Like one loves cats, one loves knitting. It's like,
pirates can't love cats?
Maybe they love them to death. I don't know. Anyway.
What? You give pirates a bad name.
Watch Our Flag Means Death. I think you'd like it. I think it's on HBO Max too. The whole series was, I think, 2 seasons, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, so Sharon posted the number, and it is a 202-808-3981 number. She also said internet went out. So let's call that number together to honor Sharondy's sacrifice. I guess is not really
All
what
right, well,
happened.
you
but
have the number, so you're going to have to dial it.
I'm going to pull it up. We're going to call from my special Squawking Dead phone. Oh, wait, here we go.
Oh.
Pirate Lady is joining us. Hey, Sharondy. Okay, now we're going to dial that number, Sharondy, in real time.
Look at all your phone numbers.
Yeah, that's going to not show up in the episode. I'll probably just include the audio, I guess. I called Teo, basically, at one point.
I'm sorry, have you seriously not made a phone call since September 18th before today?
Well, this is the Squawking Dead number, which is technically public.
Okay.
So
I'm like, how is that even possible?
it's
Okay.
possible.
Hi, Carol. We're so glad you called. We can't wait for you to join us. Dial 0 and we'll get back to you via text message.
That's it.
I dialed 0. It didn't do anything.
It sounded like Zosha,
It did sound like Pirate Lady.
but it also sounded like one of those like late night.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, call this number. We have ladies standing by.
All night long, Carol.
Something
waiting
else
to
you don't
meet
need
you.
with the hive mind anymore. You just say, "Come with me, woman."
Let me call this one more time just and see if I can hit 0. But let's try it one more time.
David just wants to hear the voice again.
Hi,
Yeah.
Carol. We're so glad you called. We can't wait for you to join us. Dial 0 and we'll get back to you via text message.
I did it when it first came out. I didn't do anything.
Oh my gosh. We're so excited for you to join us.
Yeah, I got a text. Here we go.
What? You got a text?
Oh,
Please know your life is your own, Carol. You
My
have
gosh.
agency! Exclamation point. That being said, reply yes to sign up for updates from Apple TV Plus and agree to our terms of use. Frequency varies. Consent not a condition of purchase. I thought you said my life was my own.
Right.
Message and data rates apply. Reply stop to cancel. So let's do yes, because I did the same thing for Fallout when they posted their Vault sales rep number, remember? And then you got that other message, which I think they still have in my media board, but let's see. Anyway, let's do yes to sign up for messages. The number for this, the teaser text, is 202-808-3981. And the number that we called before for Carol and Helen's outgoing message is Al's Wheels. It's 505-796-6933. Now, I got another couple text messages just now.
Oh.
I said yes. You must have so many questions for us! Exclamation point. Understand? We only want to make you happy. We'll be in touch soon. Text stop to stop, help for help. Let's get help. Should we get some help, everybody? And it shows an image of the Pluribus image. And this file type not supported. It's a contact card, which basically is the number. Usually they send this stuff like a VCF, I think, of the contact, basically.
So that you can like save it in your
Contact list,
contacts?
yeah.
Is that what? Oh, okay. Okay.
Basically to prevent spam. Like sometimes if you don't know
Sure.
the number, right?
Yeah. Makes sense.
But if you keep it in, they can keep texting you. There's one thing that we didn't really, I think we sort of touched on it several times, but the big thing about Lakshmi's family, Ravi and her husband and her mother, you had asked, is it her family? And even them conversing with each other was like,
No,
oh,
that
they
was
seem
you.
to have,
You asked, is it her family? I said it was.
right. I wonder what the audience thinks though, too, because is it her family? Are they still them? Or are they just meant to be avatars of what they once were, repeating behavior like AI?
But they're not AI. What in your definition would make them her family? What to you would be the difference between them being her family and not being?
I think the difference is pretty clear.
I think it's up for interpretation. So what do
I
you...
think it is too.
Yeah.
But it's the same argument that we have about, and it's also a philosophical argument. If you could load up an AI with your entire personality, your emotions, everything that made you who you were, at least in expression, right? Because that's all you have is external input. If you could load up an AI, is it you?
Right.
Or is it still just a facsimile of you?
If you can upload your
Indistinguishable.
consciousness, is it your body that makes you who you are? Is it your body plus your mind? Is it just your mind? What is it? Is it everything? Is it all of
Or
these
is it
things?
you right now with your experience right now?
didn't they touch on this in Westworld when they tried to replicate people and put their minds into the bodies, and it just never ever worked?
Because you can have the memories of the experience, but it's not the same
Right.
as having the experience.
Obviously, there's the whole nature versus nurture is weighted towards nature, but nurture is like the external input that sets you on a particular path. Even if you were born at the same time as another twin who was exactly like you, whatever it is, the spice of life makes you different. just by nature of you existing at the same moment in time.
Well,
you wouldn't say the same exact things.
Yeah, but studies have shown that twins, even separated at birth, do live and lead similar lives. But David, go back to your original question. For you, forget about whether they are or are not. To you, what would make them her actual family versus not? What to you would mean they are? And do these individuals fall into that category?
I think they ceased being her family when they were absorbed into the collective. So meaning, because they can no longer ever go back to the way they were, all they're doing is predicting or imitating who they once were.
You're focused more on what is or is not. What I'm asking you is, how are you defining whether they are or are not? What would it look like if they were her family? Just simply not having anyone else in their mind?
Basically, yeah.
So because they have links to other individuals, that automatically makes them
they're
not
not
who
individuals.
they are mentally, but their body, their being, their physical form is still who they are. And they still possess those thoughts and experiences that that individual has had.
They're like us. They know more than they're supposed to know.
Sure.
Part of being who you are is the limitation of not knowing everything, not knowing what the other person is thinking, right? We kind of touched on this when it came to collective Helen, not being able to please current individual Carol. Just because they have Carol's memories are a part of an amalgam of memories and collective feelings and emotions and whatnot that make up an entire being. Even that is not able to quell Carol.
Okay.
So by the very nature of her joining the collective means she's already lost. You can imitate to a point. To me, sure. I think I'm right. But
I would argue that they are still themselves, but like a 2.0 version of themselves. They're them plus. It's like Disney plus.
But then
But this is the
them?
situation where we haven't had enough interaction with any of them
Agreed.
to know how they are.
Yeah. So let me ask you this, David. So Disney recently added Hulu to its repertoire. Is it no longer Disney?
Well, actually,
or is it
to be
simply
more
Disney
accurate,
Plus?
I got a notice from Hulu that said they were not being Hulu anymore. Is that Disney Plus would be assuming all the duties they're in. It's good for the audience too, by the way.
But if you go to Disney Plus, there's a Hulu section, so you can still access Hulu through
I think
Disney
we
Plus.
just proved my point. I think we just by assimilating Hulu, it became Disney Plus and no longer Hulu.
But if you go to Disney Plus, you can still access Hulu.
Hulu, sure. Yeah.
And
but give it time.
Give it time. I still go to Hulu. I can still get to just Hulu.
I do too. No problem.
But it's still Disney.
But it will no longer be Hulu. And that's just time. Folks, that's just time.
Well,
it's kind of like
I completely
Bank
agree
of
with
America
Sharondy.
is no longer Fleet. Okay. Fleet Boston. Okay.
I agree with Sharondy, though. We're making these assumptions and drawing these conclusions based on very, very limited information.
I think it's just a basic logic problem.
With the information at hand, I do think these people are still somewhat themselves.
Let's play a hypothetical. This is the only time and place I would be on board with what you're saying is if you could download Ravi and whatever the rest of Lakshmi's family, we're just going to use them as an example. Mm-hmm. If you could download them into the appendage that is what they currently occupy, right? The bodies, mm-hmm. and cut them off from the collective, then there's an argument. Because then you can say, okay, well, then now they're the AI version of them, their collective memory, experience, etc. Resuming from that point on, disconnected from the collective.
So if they could choose to sort of put up a
sever
wall,
the connection,
that defeats the purpose of the hive mind.
Exactly.
Yeah. Right.
Then are they really them? Not really. They'll never really not be them because the question was asked and answered. Well, what speculum would you use in your vaginal exam, Ravi?
They're not them, but they're not them either. Because they're they're everybody.
Which is why Helen cares about Carol.
Which includes them.
Yeah. No, I agree.
So they're them, but they're everybody else at the same time.
You almost belie your own theory about what their intentions are because, right, your whole thing is like, I don't trust them one bit. Like, Carol's going to be right all along.
Yeah, I still don't.
So then they can't be them because that goes against what your theory is because all it is a show.
Well, maybe I need to be more specific. I don't know that it's the hive mind I don't trust, but I just feel like something else is going on.
You want there to be something there. Yeah, I totally, you're supposed to because you're a good person.
Well, I don't know. What if there's
no? I know.
What if there's like one? What if there's like one bigger brain controlling all of them?
So there's
That's
a lot
the
of
aliens on the other planet.
Yeah,
You can't-
exactly.
you can't prove a
Exactly.
negative.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's kind of like, okay, that story that came out about the robots, the automated robots that people are planning on creating, but they're actually guided by humans just in case something bad happens. There's like a recent article that came out about the servant robots.
This is terrifying. I don't need any real life examples like this floating around in my. Thank you for the nightmares tonight, David.
You're welcome. Right. Well, that's the whole point, is that like people are like, excuse me, wait, are these automated robots, or are humans sort of piloting them in case something goes wrong with the automation? And yeah, nobody wants that. It's gone. Stupid. I'll put the article up on the screen if I find it. Or
Which
if
I will
care.
never be clicking on.
Maybe you're better off. I have to mention a couple of facts like quickly because I know we're in overtime, folks.
I know,
It's
we're
sudden
going
death.
a really long time.
The second episode opens with Zosha. Pirate Lady is in Morocco, in case you were wondering. And there's a couple of tells by the dress, which is, some of that is Berber dress, some of that Moroccan Berber dress. The Arabic and French, right? Because Morocco has Arabic and French influence. On the side of the dairy truck, which is Levantine dairy in French and in Arabic. And then third, just before Pirate Lady on her little scooter heads to the airport, there's a sign on the right that says Bukhalef Airport, the main airport in Morocco.
I thought it was interesting that the truck she took the dead guy out of at the beginning was a milk truck, and the truck she flew over when she left in the plane was a yogurt truck.
Dairy, yeah. Carol's getting in Pirate Lady's face about the words she uses for what is effectively assimilation. She says the joining, right?
Oh,
It's
yeah.
pleasurable, etc., right? So she throws out this random reference that you think is nothing. Of course, thank you, Vince Gilligan, for, it's nothing dialogue. It's not nothing. Everything means something. She says the Celtiberians have a better word for it. What are the Celtiberians, everybody? Celtiberian refers to a Celtic people, right, Rachel, who lived in the central northeastern Iberian Peninsula. And we just went through the Celtic and Roman influence in The Walking Dead, Daryl Dixon, when we're talking about Galicia and all that stuff, right? With the Brujas that aren't called Brujas, they're called something with an M. Anyway, let me continue. It refers to a Celtic people who lived in the central northeastern Iberian Peninsula and their extinct language. That's what the language is, the Celtic people who lived in Iberia. Okay. Known for the fierce resistance against Roman expansion. Hello. They were eventually defeated by the Roman Republic in the 1st century BCE. The most famous Celtiberian stronghold, Numantia, fell in 133 BCE, leading to the assimilation of Celtiberian culture into Roman society.
The whole point was they had a better word for it. What was it? What was the word?
It's assimilation. They assimilated the Celtiberian culture into Roman society,
That's it? All of that for the word assimilation.
basically. They probably have a better word, but
That
it's
was
the whole
dumb.
idea of how they got assimilated after being conquered,
Oh,
essentially.
okay.
Doesn't that set off alarm bells a little bit? Because she's saying openly but flippantly, oh, the Celtiberians have a better word for it. They're no longer here to tell it.
Which is what you're going to do to us.
That's the only thing. I was on their train about the idea of that Carol is the antagonist and she's the constant pressure. She's going to constantly stir up the pot. She's going to constantly cause trouble. But then she says that the person for whom she is part of the collective says this thing. She's like, well, that's what we're doing to you, is we're assimilating what you are into us.
Mm-hmm.
And you are no longer you, basically. Nobody's like messed up about this at all. Nobody, what? The extinction, the genocide, the ethnic cleansing of a people? Come on.
Yeah, but they're not purposefully killing anyone.
But the Roman Empire.
Yeah,
You know.
they did. That's different. I mean,
But then again, Rome did fall. So there's that.
Yeah, but they also didn't have hive mind.
Part of the reason Rome
Did
was so
they?
successful because they did assimilate the people that they defeated into the empire rather than keep them separate. And that's why they managed to conquer a good chunk of Europe and remain in power for so long.
All the way to England, basically.
They had a hard time with England, but yeah.
Yeah. But once they got him, the King Arthur came around, it's game over. But then the Rome fell. So there you go. So I just thought that was very, very, very fascinating. Very telling of what they're trying to do.
Carol said that, right? Not Zosha?
The Pirate Lady said
Pirate
that.
Lady
Asked the
had that reference. Okay.
Yeah, she
Okay.
belted that reference. That's why it's so scary. It's like I've been on the not Rachel train the entire time, but that's the one thing that I'm like, oh, she's up to something. She's up to something. This pirate lady's being a pirate. She's a corsair. She's a corsair for,
She's a corsair.
right? And she literally is, isn't she? She's a corsair for this entity.
Don't touch that dial. We'll be right back after these messages.
We just thought we'd remind you to show this episode some love by tapping that like button if there's one to be tapped. subscribing to our podcast or channel, and if available, enabling all notifications and sharing the show or clips of it with everyone you know. And don't be afraid to reach out. Leave your questions, feedback, ideas, or even concerns in the comments section. There isn't one? Head on over to ratethispodcast.com/squawkingdead and leave your thoughts there. Rating our podcast is the best way to get our attention because it also boosts our visibility. And we'll probably address it in the next episode too. And if you think there's something to what we're doing here at Squawking Dead, tip us over on Ko-fi. As a token of our appreciation, you'll receive forever access to our Discord, along with 30 days access to our uncut episode and interview recordings, plus our pre-squawk insights. Take your support further. Join a membership tier on either ko-fi.com/squawkingdead or patreon.com/squawkingdead, and you'll unlock access to more channels on our Discord server, receive shoutouts at the end of every episode, and depending on what tier you join, the ability to join us on camera and mic to break down future episodes alongside us. Thank you for hearing us out and making it this far into the episode.
We now return you to our regularly scheduled podcast.
Somebody's up to something, but I don't know who yet.
It's Vince Gilligan.
Well, yes, it's always Vince.
Saul Goodman just set this all up. He's going to show up at the end. Yeah.
Saul's having a dream.
The long con.
Oh, yeah. It's the end of the series.
Yeah.
What the heck?
He's going to wake up and be like, oh, Kim, I had the weirdest dream.
It's going to be like in black and white. He's in prison. He calls up Kim. I just had to talk to you about this dream. He's in his classic Chicago accent.
I dreamed that I got to meet Rhea Seehorn last night.
Aww.
I mean, it wasn't
You mean
weird
like
or
you,
anything.
Sharon?
Yeah, me.
Okay.
Like I was at like a convention or something. I got to meet her. So
We did
Aw.
watch the series pretty late, by the way. So it's like, I can't blame you. So with that, everybody, I think, see, when Rachel calls it to she-ons, that's how we know. That's the trouble. Yeah, we got the troubles. So with that, everybody, I think I will choose the metal speculum and say thanks for joining us on this inaugural voyage into Pluribus. I hope you enjoyed our conversation. We kind of ran the gamut on the first 2 episodes, and I hope you end up watching and discussing with us the 3rd episode again. Something that we don't really often mention is that you can join these sessions if you just follow us on Ko-fi and Patreon. It's free to follow. It's free to join us in the studio. We just post. If you don't follow, you won't know when our schedule goes up or when it changes, when we record next. The link is available for you to join us for free in the real-time chat. And if you happen to join a membership, you can join us on script, depending on the membership, join us on screen along with us to talk about this episode. But in the meantime, I've been your host, David Cameo, and I was joined by...
This individual, CosmoMom09.
this individual is Pirate Lady.
They've been assimilated. They've been assimilated. Well, at least they'll be compliant hosts.
We is us, y'all.
They all caught the alien cooties.
That's right. We didn't even say the names of the episodes. We is us and Pirate Lady. Yeah, that's it. All right. Well, Rachel, we is us, and Charity, Pirate Lady, I bid you adieu and cheers, everybody.
Ahoy.
We'll see you in the next one. And hey, watch our coverage of Welcome to Derry. That's cooking soon. We're going to watch that one and get back to you.
Very gory.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you again for making it to the end of yet another episode of Squawking Dead. This one covering Pluribus's series premiere and its 2nd episode. I cannot wait to talk about the 3rd episode, which is already out as of today, which is November 14th. Given the fact that we are covering 2 episodes concurrently for I don't know how long, episodes will take a little longer to come out. So I highly encourage you to at least tip us on Ko-fi so you can get 30 days access to our unedited episode recordings, or join our membership on either Ko-fi or Patreon. You'll get early access to our uncut recordings. Our published recordings will take a lot longer to come out because of what we're endeavoring to cover at this time, which is why your donations will be so very, very important and helpful in this time period, because I am looking for another editor. We spoke to Veton a while ago, and he is out of the business of doing editing. So, hey, if you know anybody that can help, definitely reach out via either social media, info@squawkingdead.com, or even via your rating. If you do have a handle I can reach out to you on and you are following us on social media, if you write a review, I will DM you and we'll get the ball rolling. In any case, you've reached the part of our podcast where we shout out our supporters. It's a little perk that they receive as a result of their generous support. Since we don't have any Survivors members, we are moving on to our Whisperers members, starting with @Kim.Rowley, the number 1 on Facebook. And of course, Rob Lucchese @RobsStuff_N as in Nancy _Thangs, THANGS on TikTok. pretty psyched to watch the next episode right after I record this and publish this, and hope you are too. So in the meantime, just remember that Pluribus, aka we, are squawking dead.